This is Ray's OU over Unity experiment. You can do number 4. The following. Magnetic field shaping. This is a technique I've developed. I've not seen it studied before. But it does not change or nullify any of the magnetic laws of physics, but takes advantage of the redirecting of the magnetic fields, using certain angles and iron materials to do such. In this case, allowing the magnetic car to enter the magnetic gate with less power and exiting the gate with greater power. More power out than power in. My definition of OU over Unity event. I have set up here what I call a double solenoid OU event. There are two actions of solenoid functions going on at the same time. Whenever you have a north and a south, in between that, when you enter a magnetic field, it tends to be brought along that field from north to south. So this is one of them. This is another north, south. I have iron bars here. And this between the north and the south causes a solenoid effect also. This is a 45-degree angle, and that helps, instead of being a door to the magnetic car, it's more or less it comes in at an angle and allows it to drift through better. It's to do with magnetic fields. If you see them, they're shaped kind of like a double heart. So if you have them up and down, then they're one way, but if you slant them, then that one half side is at a slant, and it affects the magnetic fields differently. So that's one reasoning behind that. And you can see up here, I have a pack of 9 or 10 Neos, and there again, I have an iron bar. Iron is one of the important functions of magnetic field shaping. Briefly, I was a blacksmith all my life, ornamental iron. So I worked with iron, so it was natural when I started having an interest in magnets that I was using iron. I found that they can shape the fields to an advantage. Okay. Importantly, between a north and a south magnet, it's interesting. In the center, the magnet itself, or the iron bar, is neutral. There are great forces on the end of a magnet. And I'm sure you've all been aware of how strong that is. And yet, this is part of the field shaping techniques, and this is called neutralization. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Also, I'll go ahead and show the car functioning. On one side, the side it's in position now is in the inactive side. The magnetic forces are not having any effect on the incoming force. On the active side, this is where there's a force produced forward. We'll show that. Get it up to the gate. And you can see there's no interaction. It's inactive. And then suddenly it gets into the active side and it fires. One interesting thing here, this is a north, I call this a side saddle, and it's differently. I was talking about how the shapes are of the fields. So when it's up and down, it looks kind of like a heart shape. And when I have it to the side, that heart side field is kind of collapsed inwardly. It's more brought over to the side, so it allows this interaction to come in easier without being a door. It's more open, so it comes through. Interestingly also, the magnetic field here, this is a north, it does not see the south side of this magnet, or it does not see the north side of this side of the magnet. Hope that wasn't confusing. It only sees the north side and the south side. Everything in between is more or less neutralized, and this field does not recognize this side of this magnet or this side of this magnet, only these sides. And that's something you probably really didn't want to know, but it is apparent from my research. So we're bringing in again the car. It's in the inactive side, so we're having very, very low power. This is by definition of a over unity event. Less power in and more power out. You can see that as we go backwards, that repelling force is there. Most or all of the systems I've seen on the internet, if they show something like this, they don't really show you coming into the gate. They only show you when it's right at the gate, and that's after it's been pushed in. At these points back here, they're probably pushing out. So if they don't show that, then that's one difference that I've developed here. I don't have the input pushing away up to the gate, and then at the gate it actually pulls in just a little bit and fires. There again, the bar of metal in between is neutral. This allows the neutral field to come up, and this magnet, instead of pulling back on it, cannot, because this is a neutral area. So if I didn't have this neutralization here, it would come through and then stop and pull back. So because of this neutral field coming up, it does not recognize or see this pullback. So that's another feature of this setup. And after it fires, you can see the push away. So that's the action behind this. I hope I was able to show you some things that will be of help. So my reasoning behind these experiments you can do, they're fairly easy to set up. This is a clay base. This is just a little toy car I have. I put it on at a 45-degree angle. And so I thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. And enjoy your day inventing.